Tyler and Shane.
How's it going, those fantasy dudes? We got a podcast with league mates, former champ Sterling, and college enthusiast Mac, and we're going for a little bit of rookie talk, a little bit of buy low, sell high. We got John in the background cooking a roast and fixing a TV stand.
On a ledge roast. Like, until we see this freaking thing come out of the oven, like, I do not believe that he's cooking a roast.
Very alleged.
We're going to need proof, John. Well, socials, we got Instagram, TikTok, and Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, CastBox, Reason, Radio Public, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Bullhorn, Castro, Podchaser, Podcast Addict, Podbean, Podcast Guru, Podcast Republic, Podverse, and Spotify for podcasters, which is the host platform. Make sure to follow and subscribe, and pay 99 cents a month. I don't even think that's helping you, to be honest.
I don't think anyone's paying for this episode right now. It's okay. I also don't think that like 75% of those that you just listed are real things. I think they're just like fake accounts that are funneling money to Egyptian princesses or something. John is being taken for a ride on this
17 burner.
Oh yeah, he has all the subscribers. That's why it's 99 cents. You can just like buy each one of them.
It's just sending money to Brittany Mahomes. That's all he's doing.
That's all he's doing.
Oh my God! Speaking of Brittany Mahomes, we got a Brittany Mahomes update.
Oh, good.
You know what? Let's talk a little bit more about football before the Brittany Mahomes update.
Thank God.
Yeah. So, I'm not even in my. There we go. Rookies. Let's go with some rookies. Let's talk about 2023 rookies that you guys have liked.
Yeah, I can kick us off actually. On like just the rookies in general. I actually wanted to talk about a couple guys, non-rookies actually first, real quick, that I think can actually break out this year. That'd be Wan'Dale Robinson and Khalil Shakir. Both of them kind of started to pick it up in this latter part or mid part of the season. Wan'Dale Robinson, a little bit worried about just because of the quarterback issue there in the Giants, but there's no one else on that receiving room, and he has been a reception magnet the last couple of weeks. And Shakir, I think, with that Bills offense, is going to continue to grow. In terms of not actual rookies from this,
especially with Waller out, with
exactly.
Waller out, that's even more, right? Yeah.
Doesn't that just become an issue with so many teams right now? As you look at players, and you have, I mean, Tommy DeVito can't throw a football with either hand, so it kind of like negates the entire offense unless Tyrod goes out there, and even then, you know, there's sort of a ceiling. Tyrod can win you games, but again, there's a reason that he's a free agent in every fantasy league you've ever played in. He really is like the break glass in case of, because he can operate your offense, but he's more of a better real life quarterback than a fantasy option. So therefore, when that flows down, it hurts the rest of the offense in fantasy wise. And then you look at the other situations, same thing with the Rams, same thing with the Vikings, where they're trying to kind of figure out these quarterback situations, and it's kind of undercutting a lot of top receivers.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
It won't. I don't think it'll undercut Justin Jefferson, though. I think Justin Jefferson will be just fine when he's back, but it takes a rare guy to be just fine in those situations.
Well, but it depends too, because Jefferson operates opposite like KJ Osborne and Jordan Addison.
Addison's going to take.
Well, Osborne's gone now.
Right, and Osborne's out, and Jefferson's coming back off the injury, and he's coming back to Josh Dobbs, not Kirk Cousins. I think this is going to be kind of the ultimate, and we all love Josh Dobbs. Look, like he's the darling of the NFL universe this week, because it's a great story that he comes in out of nowhere and, you know, with an injury to Jaren Hall, takes over, wins a game, doesn't know the playbook, doesn't know the cadences, and they win. But I mean, how long have we kind of discounted Kirk Cousins? And everyone, that is always the we talk about, like with Mac Jones for 3 years, is, well, I mean, if he maximized his potential, I mean, he could be Kirk Cousins, but people say it with like that level of snark to it that, you know, he could be Kirk Cousins, but he couldn't be anything above
Meanwhile,
that. Well,
Kirk is, he's third in passing yards, right? Like he's
He's a really capable NFL quarterback. And I think we're going to see that effect of like, what does Justin Jefferson look like when he doesn't have Kirk Cousins? I'm not taking away from Justin Jefferson, but when you give him a less than optimal scenario, you're going to get less production. It's just obvious. I mean, especially without Osborne or if Addison's back.
Look at D-Hop.
I mean, 100%. Huge drop off. And then you see he gets Will Levis for a week and you go, oh, wait. Like, this guy could still be that guy.
Well, I'm a little bit on the Will Levis thing. Like, I mean, he has one good week where it's a couple broken plays, wide open touchdowns, and then they play a Steelers team, which although maybe that front seven is really good, that secondary for the Steelers is just piss poor. And for him to just kind of like lay an egg again, I don't really know about how much of Will Levis I'm going to buy into. I mean, if I was like in Dynasty or like a keeper, I might hold on to him, but like, I don't know about him as like far as like an active like person that's going to like light up, or D-Hop for that matter. I think that was kind of like a flash in the pan thing for this year.
I think Will Levis could be enough to make D-Hop serviceable wide receiver 2 rest year. If he he got like, how many yards did he get? He was balling out.
I don't know. It just
D-Hop. I mean, he's still D-Hop.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, that Steeler front, I mean, you got to take that into account as like that Steeler front seven. Cam Hayward was back that game. TJ Watt, you're playing in Pittsburgh in your second NFL start. That is less than optimal in terms of a situation to walk into. So I'm willing to kind of give the pass. We always say in the NFL, you're never as good as you look. You're never as bad as you look. Like, is he a 4 touchdown every week guy? Probably not. You know, is he? And I'm not even gonna say he looked bad against Pittsburgh, because I mean, he completed some passes he had no business completing because he was running out of the pocket. He's got a kind of a weird, unconventional, somewhat sidearm, but he's got a quick release. He's kind of just flicks his wrist on some of these throws with some confidence. I kind of like.
He's like a more.
I kind of like the poise that he showed out there in a way. What would you give for a comp, Logan?
Oh, I was gonna say like he's like a more athletic Brock Purdy. Like,
oh really? I would say Matt Stafford.
Like,
I'd say a more athletic Matt Stafford is what he could be, but you need consistency. Like Matt Stafford early on in his career was one of those guys. He'd have like high 20s, low 30s touchdowns, but then like also like 15 picks or whatever and a lot of yards on a shitty like Lions team consistently. Like, that was Matt Stafford up until basically the Rams. So like that's what you can see with Will Levis. Like, now it's going to be about if the Titans can build around him. Like right now, like his number 2 option is like Treylon Burks, which I don't know. Treylon Burks, like, you know, great for like size, but he can't stay healthy. He's not an elite separator. He's not really got much as far as like elite, what I would say elite. He's not like a great jump ball guy for me. When I look at like Treylon Burks, I look at him more like almost like a big gadget guy, like a Cordell Patterson almost, with like Treylon Burks and what he can be. And like, that's it on that offense, other than like Derrick Henry, who's 30, 31. So like, if the Titans can fully rebuild and actually surround Will Levis with people, I mean, the NFL has shown that like lesser quarterbacks have done great when you surround them. Like Brock Purdy is not some elite quarterback talent by any means, but you surround him with like top players, he's able to perform and get you where you need to go. So that's where I would leave it with like Will Levis. Like, if they can build around him, great.
Back to Brock Purdy.
Right. If they can build around him, great. But like, if they stick him with DeAndre Hopkins and like, that's like, they're like, hey, that's your number 1, like you're going to do it. Like, I don't know. I struggle to see him really taking like any steps and like really like kind of delivering like consistently, basically, is what I would see. Because he's gonna, like, if they can't build that offensive line, like that's just going to be a messy situation for them in Tennessee.
It's still Henry's team, right? It's Henry.
Oh, 100%. It's all still running through Derrick Henry. I mean, we saw last week in Pittsburgh, you know, Henry's throwing passes. We're doing direct snap stuff that they've done for a long time and done it really successfully. With a rookie quarterback, kind of why wouldn't you, to a point, especially when you acknowledge that there's really not that much outside talent there at the receiver position. But looking back kind of historically, and we'll take it from, you know, the time that the Oilers became the Titans. I mean, name great Titan receivers, even on those good teams, even when they went to the Super Bowl. I mean, can you name the pass catchers that Steve McNair was winning MVPs by throwing to?
No, probably not. No.
You know, like, I mean, Kevin Dyson was the receiver that was a yard short in the Super Bowl against the Rams. You know, Frank Wycheck was the definition of a 90s huge shoulder padded tight end. but there really just aren't that many. The AJ Brown 2 seasons. I mean, going back to the Houston Oilers, there just isn't. And I think there's certain organizations that don't find talent at certain positions. I mean, the McNair teams work because McNair could run, he could throw, and they had Eddie George. And then outside of that, they were
been their calling card.
It's been their calling card for a long time. And
Chris Johnson, it's always been their thing.
True, Chris Johnson was so fast.
Exactly. They're known for great running backs and solid get you by quarterbacks, good linebackers, and that's it. But like Derek Mason was a solid receiver, went to Baltimore, became a very good receiver. It's just something that it feels like lather, rinse, repeat. Will
the
Levis
system, right?
It is. And Will Levis is going to need some help there if he's really going to kind of take that next step, which he could. But I don't think we're going to be looking at the Tennessee Titans in 3 years like we do San Francisco or Philadelphia. It's just not how they run organizationally.
They were looking quite competitive that 1 year with Tannehill. I forget what year that was. Was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago? They were looking.
Yeah, they made the AFC Championship game.
Yeah,
I mean they were sort of right there. They knocked off Baltimore and had a big lead on Kansas City early, but Kansas City.
But then they fell off.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the thing with
the quarterback position, kind of screwing. So the whole Mariota thing, all that, it can be messy. I don't know, Will Levis. I mean, as far as rookie quarterbacks go in general, I'll say he's looked more impressive. Granted, it's a very small sample size. He's looked a lot better than the number 1 overall pick Bryce Young has looked.
Not better than not better than
CJ Stroud. I don't even
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud's getting You should have kept him.
I shouldn't have traded him. Dude. And I knew I wanted him all along too.
What did you trade him for?
Charbonnet, because I have Ken Walker, which could end up being a very good thing for me. It's just Seattle goes through so many running backs.
It's year one. So take everything with a grain of salt. I'll say CJ Stroud by far has looked
I'd be starting in a different
class. Right. He's looked in a different class than all these other rookie quarterbacks. You had Anthony Richardson from a fantasy perspective. Sure, he was great. He can run the ball. You're in an Eagles style offense. You're always going to be a pretty solid fantasy option at the quarterback position. But the injury bug reared its ugly head, just like in college, consistently with him at Florida, he'd get hurt. Now it's in the NFL. In 5 or 6 games, he got tweaked something in his leg and then messed up his shoulder. As far as the rookie quarterbacks go, if you drafted in a dynasty draft and you didn't take anyone other than CJ Stroud, I think you got to be kicking yourself a little bit. Bryce Young, I
watched him in that national championship game. Whew.
Yeah, I don't know. I with Bryce Young, I'll say it. I'm a little bit of a Bryce Young hater. I've never really understood the hype behind this guy. Was always kind of good at Bama. He won a Heisman, sure, but when you're at Bama, you're surrounded by the best of the best consistently. You have amazing offensive lines. You're with the best coaches. Then you go into the NFL, and that's where true athleticism and talent is going to be separated. And with Bryce Young, he has made some decent throws, and he has definitely been under duress. Carolina's not doing him any favors with their offensive line and overall weapons for him to throw to. His best receivers, old man Thielen. Yeah, not great. But when you look at Bryce Young, I don't see elite athleticism. I don't see him being able to really run away from edge defenders like he did in college. I'm not seeing able to create in the pocket like he did in college. When he's throwing the ball, there's not real zip on it. It's just I don't know. There's just a lot for the number 1 overall pick. You expect to see a little bit more flashes, and that's not what I've seen. Then you have CJ Stroud picked right after him, who's looked, damn near like an MVP candidate with just Tank Dell and Nico Collins, which no offense to Tank Dell and Nico Collins, but I don't think either of those guys are top 10 receivers, and he's making them look like it. So I don't know. As far as rookie quarterbacks go, I'd say CJ Stroud by far has been the top guy. And maybe you wait and see on Will Levis and Anthony Richardson. I think if you're a Bryce Young guy, maybe hold him. But I don't know. I don't see it with the guy at all, to be honest with you.
Richardson was go on.
No, I'm just going to refute some things that Mac said there. Mac, can you name another Alabama quarterback who won the Heisman?
I can't name another Alabama quarterback that's won a Heisman, but I can name better Alabama quarterbacks than Bryce Young.
Nope, not what I asked. I asked if you could name another one that won the Heisman because, in fact, another Alabama quarterback has never won the Heisman Trophy. Bryce Young is, in fact, the first. So when you say that, they're surrounded by talent, they're going to get these accolades. Nope, Bryce Young is the first one. And you could even go to as far as saying, Mac Jones was surrounded, and Mac Jones had a transcendent season and could have won it. And said, Devontae Smith won it, Jalen Waddles won out that season. That he was surrounded by talent, Najee Harris, and put up those numbers. So Bryce Young legitimately did things at Alabama that other quarterbacks at that school hadn't done before. What it was, it was arm talent, it was speed. He was playing behind a better offensive line. And I think that's what so much of this boils down to, is that the athleticism doesn't jump off the page when he's using it to run for his life. Look at the Carolina roster.
That's never been what he's about either. And I'm not going to say that he's like an RG3 level athletic, talent, able to kind of run away from people. That's never been his game. Just what he did, what was so great about him in college is almost where he was almost Johnny Manziel-esque. He was able to move around in the pocket, kind of make something out of nothing, be able to use that disorganized setting to his advantage. Especially with, to your point, not as much talent as maybe a Tua Tagovailoa had.
But that's college football in general. You're going to be able to get away with things. Johnny Manziel's the greatest example of that you can get away with certain things.
But I will say,
he's on an island in Carolina throwing to, everyone's favorite Adam Thielen. And, beyond that, you're hearing crickets. It's an awful offensive line. It's an awful defense there's no complimentary football to be had there in general. And the Carolina Panthers are a complete afterthought. Oh, and by the way, they also don't have their first round pick. So what is the future there for him? When you look at the situation, you go, yeah, they didn't build much. Whereas you compare it to CJ Stroud's situation, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let you impugn the good goddamn name of Tank Dell on this podcast.
I'm not taking
Tank Dell might have something. Tank Dell, every time I see that kid, and he was a guy who was linked to the Patriots on so many podcasts and shows last year that, not to say I developed a draft crush on Tank Dell because it's a 3rd, 4th, 5th round guy where he's kind of being projected. But now I watch him, and now it's, the Patriots are 2-8, and I'm jealous of everybody. Or 2-7, and I'm jealous of everybody. And I'm looking at it going, God, why couldn't we have just taken Tank Dell? Yeah, he's 5'10" and fast as hell, and he and Pop Douglas would make the shortest pair of slot receivers, but damn it, I'd love to have him. That's the kind of thing that Bryce Young doesn't have that. And not say that's what's making CJ Stroud, because CJ Stroud is doing very well by himself, but just some complementary pieces. Throwing to Adam Thielen and whatever else is hanging around Carolina.
He's got Mingo, which he's a pretty decent receiver. For a young guy, you could argue Mingo.
He's got that one.
Look, I'll take the Tank Dell thing. I'm not taking anything away from Tank Dell. I'm just saying he's not a top 15, top 10 wide receiver in the NFL.
He's played 8 games.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Hell sounds like Tyreek, right?
And here's the other thing.
He'll be in the Olympics in 2028.
Here's the only thing I'll poke the hole in the whole Bryce Young Heisman conversation. Name me the top quarterbacks in the NFL right now, and how many of them won a Heisman. Oh,
you can go back 60 years and say the top players that have won Heisman trophies. You go through that list, it is bad quick. Now, there are guys, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. I would say it's getting better. But, you look historically. Charlie Ward, Gino Torretta, Danny Werfel, Chris Winkie, Eric Crouch, until you got to Carson Palmer, Jason White, Matt Leinart, Troy Smith, Tim Tebow, Sam Bradford. Oh, it is bad until about 2010.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. And it's so, and also I think that the way the Heisman's transitioning is, not to get too off topic from fantasy football, but the Heisman is definitely transitioning to more of how the NFL with the MVP. That's what the Heisman is becoming: best quarterback, sticky, the best stats.
Yeah.
And Bryce Young earned it. Bryce Young's earned it in college. And again, it is early. I'm just, what I've seen so far from an eye test, you would expect to see maybe a few more plays if you are the number 1 overall pick. Because look at Trevor Lawrence, his first year. Yeah, sure, he's you could have wrote him off and said oh, maybe It's going to be
people did.
Yeah, right. People wrote him off. They said Zach Wilson's looked maybe better, or Justin Fields. Any of these guys. They said,
no one said that. No one said Zach Wilson.
Yeah, right, of course. But
Justin Fields though.
But the Jets sucked. So he's bad too. So we'll see. It's obviously to wait and see what I'd say with Bryce Young. But what I will say, if you took Bryce Young over maybe CJ Stroud, I feel like you got to be kind of kicking yourself just a smidge, especially in a dynasty format so far. Maybe we'll see. Maybe I'll eat my words in a year and Bryce Young will take over the league. But
too early to know.
Too early to know. Transitioning from quarterbacks into the running back conversation, as far as breakouts for the rest of the year, I mean, obviously you can talk about Bijan Robinson, number 7 overall pick, ooh, hot take there. Or Devon Achane when he comes back. They both have looked pretty dang good, especially in terms of fantasy. Although Bijan, yeah, I mean, if you're in a McDaniel style offense, you're going to be great.
You're talking about fast as hell. That is Achane.
Yeah,
is probably the second fastest guy in the league at this point, honestly.
As far as he's got explosiveness. He's a smooth runner. He's looked really good. But guys that I'd look at as possible, has real breakup potential outside of your normal top guys, I'd say Jahmyr Gibbs has really started to kind of pick up speed. Obviously,
I've been telling you.
Yeah, first round pick again, so crazy take. But with what Jahmyr Gibbs has started to pick up, he's getting a lot more of the snap share. Granted, Montgomery's been out, but he's done great things with the touches he's been getting. So I could see, honestly, Jahmyr Gibbs, especially if you are looking for a playoff push in terms of fantasy, Gibbs could be a guy that could really help carry you, especially with a very favorable schedule. I think they're playing the Bears and the Vikings a couple times. I think he's just going to be – he's going to have a pretty good spot there. And then one guy kind of a dark horse is Keaton Mitchell for me on the Ravens. With that running back room situation, Justice Hill, Gus Edwards, notorious for getting hurt. Maybe, one of those guys to down. Keaton Mitchell looked – granted it was 1 week, but he looked electric. He's known for being speedy. I liked him coming out. I thought he was a great scat back, change of pace. And in a run-heavy offense, if he can kind of carve out a little bit of a role, that could be something, maybe as a little stash and grab for you for Keaton Mitchell there. That's what I would say about him. But I don't know about if you guys had any other running backs you had on your mind.
I'm just going to say Keaton Mitchell, just thinking about the running back position in the Baltimore Ravens. Those are just two things that don't go together.
No, I hate it too, because it's they can't figure it out for whatever reason.
But it's just as soon as a guy like Keaton Mitchell comes out there and he had great numbers this past week, 150 yards, he'll probably have another great game or maybe a great half game, and then he will tear his ACL. And I don't wish that on anybody. It just happens. There's something about the Baltimore Ravens. But then they'll have another one. They will sign someone else or have an undrafted kid on the practice squad that they'll elevate, and he'll go out and rush for 2 tutties and 100.
They're the Titans.
I can't think of a guy outside of since Ray Rice. I can't think of a guy since Ray Rice that's been a consistent every season top running back for the Ravens. I can't think of one.
But I can think of all the guys that they name preseason,
Forsett or
Forsett, J.K. Dobbins.
Every year it's his year. And then he has.
What was it? 3 years ago, they lost 3 running backs in a 5-day period during training camp. There was
Gus Edwards,
Dobbins,
J.K. Dobbins.
It was Dobbins, Edwards, and then I think it was Hill. I think it might have been Hill.
Justice Hill was on the team back then.
Oh yeah, it's been the same 3. They're all about the same age-ish. Well, Edwards is the oldest of the 3, but they've all been there. It's been the 3 of them. Their thing is they keep getting hurt. I don't know why the Ravens don't just say let's go get our guy, but they don't need to because that offense is run through.
They're good. They're yeah.
Well, but at the same time, and I've had this problem kind of with Baltimore since that first year where Lamar really, burst out, was that in that offense, the guy that no one really paid attention to was Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram went there and had kind of a career resurgence in that offense. And that's kind of their MO was you run with Lamar, but it's all timing. And they're essentially running an option offense. But that's kind of what their style is. It's very gimmicky, but it's all about timing. And since Ingram left, it hasn't quite looked right till this year. Now we're seeing kind of full Lamar. Lamar's been healthy, knock on wood. But that's sort of that offense that they've run there with Greg Roman. Greg Roman, there's a reason he's been on 15 teams in the NFL, is that he goes somewhere, he changes the offense, they get really imaginative, they get really weird, the league catches up with it, he goes gimmicky. I talked to a guy who played for Greg Roman several years ago in Buffalo. He's he would come in on Wednesday, be all right, guys, I got ideas. We're going to run this reverse. We're going to put in these packages. And they're what the hell? What are we doing midweek? Imploring all these kind of different things. So, and he's not there anymore. So they've totally changed things. But that's kind of what Baltimore's looked like for years.
Yeah. I think Baltimore is one piece away from a Super Bowl. Like, go get an Alvin Kamara, like a Eckler late in his career. One of those guys, like just like a good, solid athlete, like one of the best athletes to be with Lamar. Like
See, the thing is, I don't even
he
know
carries
if
them a little too much.
I don't even know if they like need a running back. I feel like Lamar's proven that they don't really, especially when he's still in his athletic prime, they don't exactly need like some stud running back per se. They just need someone that can stay healthy. But they've proven that they can slot almost anyone in there and they'll be serviceable. I think what you really got to look at is they need someone to counter or to be on the opposite side of Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers. They need one other receiving option because I don't think
That's not named OBJ.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to carry them into the playoffs or be reliable.
No.
Rashad Bateman, maybe if he continues to stay healthy, Bateman's kind of starting to look okay. But like, if I was a Ravens fan, that'd be the one thing I'd want is maybe a rookie receiver,
Devontae Adams,
or someone like that. That's like, but like someone just can stay healthy more than anything. That's the Ravens in a nutshell. Find some guy that can be healthy for more than 5 games in a season because that's every year with them.
So we will touch back to the rookie talk for sure, but I am obligated to read this Brittany Mahomes update because I will lose a first-round pick if I don't, according to our commissioner.
Brittany Mahomes update. Brittany Mahomes update.
Dear Lord.
Well, there you go.
John shared that on Instagram, that story or that post. I saw that. All right. It is hard to believe we are going into week 10 of the 2023 NFL season. It's hard to believe that Brittany Mahomes is still relevant in today's society, but the reality is she is more relevant than she ever has been. And that's thanks to this podcast. With John, Jake, and Tyler, it's hard to know if Brittany needed to climb the social ladder and position herself next to some of the biggest names in pop culture. I'm just going to say on the record, actually, Jake's always hating on it. It's so funny. And then he's so involved. I love it. Okay. One would expect the dedicated wife of Patrick Mahomes to make a trip alongside him into Germany. But in the surprise of everyone, neither Brittany nor Taylor made the long journey overseas. Okay, so they didn't go overseas. Instead, they paraded around New York City for a night in the town. Taylor's celebrity bestie, one of the highest status of Hollywood elites typically.
Okay, I'm gonna chime in here.
This is crazy, John.
This is really bad. Logan, all I want you to do, I just want you to just have a 5-minute conversation about this picture.
It's hard to read
5
script,
minutes
John.
about this
John,
picture.
Yeah, it's Brittany Mahomes with Taylor Swift, and it looks like they had a night out of town. It looks like they had a great time. Maybe she'll become an elite celebrity, A-list. I don't know.
Are they famous, the other two?
I don't know the other two. I only know
No
Taylor
idea.
Swift in that one. Okay. Oh yeah, Travis Kelce won like sexiest athlete or whatever, and then his brother's also on like the sexiest men like list. Could be collusion. You could argue that just big names in the street, but I don't know, John. That's more your expertise, I guess.
Yeah, it's
All right. All right. Well, I'm going to take over. Let's just do the podcast. Logan, you've been doing great. This has been awesome. I just want to say I'm happy for Brittany. That's all I want to say. I think it's great. She really resisted for the longest time to, post a photo with Taylor. Like these photos were the same night, and she didn't put a picture of her with Taylor. And then she finally put one out. And look at all the love. Jackson Mahomes, so fun. Kansas City Current emoji.
So you're just trolling, like that's what that's your shtick here, John. Like you're just trolling people. Like if you're quoting Jackson Mahomes, like you've just become a gimmick.
No, it's not trolling. I'm happy for her.
Nope, no one's happy for her.
No, a lot of people seem to be.
Nope, not one person.
Look at how happy they are.
I don't care. I'm fine with her being where she is, but Jackson Mahomes, on the other hand,
Sterling, do you know who any of these actors are? Do you know who this is right here?
That's Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez.
Who doesn't know that?
Who's that?
I'm gonna go Zsa Zsa Gabor.
All right. She's not from Boy Meets World.
Didi Badid.
Oh, that's her.
Nailed it.
Oh.
It's Panga Lawrence.
This is Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones. Come on. She just had to Joe Jonas. They have 2 kids.
Yeah. No, I've never seen that show.
What about this guy? That's Jake. No, I don't know. That I had a whole script written and I felt Logan was struggling through it and I didn't want to. I felt the pain.
I was struggling to the Brittany Mahomes part, to be completely honest. That was just
That's okay.
I was like thinking about
honest,
something I just read, and then I was like thinking about it as I'm reading the next sentence, and I was just like, what is this like?
Yeah, imagine doing that every week and
no, you write it, John. I'm quite amazed sometimes by what you're saying too. You're like, I think you're not going to shock me, and then I see something, or in this case see something or hear something, and you're just like,
you see something, you got to say something at the end of the day,
dude.
Because we are a Brittany Mahomes podcast, and
I hope she doesn't see this. I really do.
I did. So essentially, I did learn today that Travis and Taylor are probably going to tour together because Taylor is starting her international tour at the end of the month. So after the season, Travis is probably going to be traveling with her, which means Brittany might be traveling with her. So imagine,
John, you're just into the. Imagine if you were doing this Mac right now about his personal life.
What do you mean, Travis Kelce's going to tour with them?
They're gonna hang out together. I mean, like he'll be hanging out.
John, the season goes until February.
Yeah, but like her tour goes until next October, and it starts next month. She's going to be touring for another year.
People just tour all the time now. Like there is no like start or end. It's literally just continuous.
Yeah.
It's a tour and then a month off, and then you go make some money again.
Then they go back to Europe, then they come back to North America, and then they go back. I mean, it's
already a billionaire. It's crazy. I'm just happy for Brittany. That's all I wanted to say.
And music keeps you relevant.
And I honestly, Taylor Swift has some great songs. Is anybody here? Can you name 3 Taylor Swift songs, Sterling?
So raise your hand if you've seen Taylor Swift in concert.
No. Well, he's a big Gillette guy. He's a big Gillette.
Know he had a Swiftie.
No, was not at Gillette. This was 2007, Cumberland County Civic Center.
Fearless?
She was the second opener for Brad Paisley. She did like 6 songs.
An opener? Holy shit.
Yeah. No, she had like one song on the radio. And like we knew the song. It was like a hit on country radio. And yeah, she did like 6 songs. And then Rodney Atkins played for an hour.
Wow. So you saw her before she was like her,
Oh yeah, she was, I don't know, 20, something like that. Like she was crazy.
Wow. And now she's recreating all of her albums. Have you listened to the new 1989 Taylor's version yet?
I haven't listened to the old one. I probably haven't listened to anything since Tim McGraw.
Well, damn, who knew that Sterling was the real resident Swiftie of the podcast? You know what I mean?
I would definitely listen to Tim McGraw instead of Taylor Swift any time in my life, any point, any mood,
Me
Logan,
too.
why does it look like you're in a haunted house right now when it's 5 o'clock in California?
The sun just set.
Do you have any lights in your home?
I do, but that's the natural light's so good in this room. I had just been relying on it, and then it's sunset.
That's okay. You know what? I'm gonna let's move the show along, and then we're gonna lose Sterling, and it looks like 10 minutes. So
why don't John? I'm gonna intervene right now, and just I hope I'm not losing a first round pick because that's some bullshit. For now, let's talk football until Sterling leaves, and then you can finish up the Brittany Mahomes.
No, we're down. Brittany Mahomes is done.
I feel like that's it. That's got to be it. There can't be anything else to talk about with Brittany Mahomes.
I think I'd rather. What I want to do since Sterling's here is we'll do the Dynasty download. I just want to hear what is the road to victory for his team this year, and then he can leave, and then we can go from there. But yeah, let's go ahead and do the Dynasty download.
Dynasty download.
So Sterling, the champ of last year, we had you on the show after you won the league. But really, you're right now, what are you sitting at, 6th? I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, I'm in a playoff spot.
You are 5-4. Sitting in 6th place. You struggled because you lost Cooper Kupp in the beginning of the season, I think.
I lost Cooper Kupp. I lost Nick Chubb.
Cooper's back.
Eckler.
I lost. Yeah, Eckler missed the first like 4 weeks, and Christian Watson missed the first, I don't know, 4 games. It was pretty dodgy there.
Kendrick Bourne too, and he was actually solid as
Dude.
a second flex.
Honestly, his team is fine. Like this is.
Oh my god! Of course it's fine. Dalton Kincaid has been great. I mean, like,
yeah, Kincaid. I think that's gonna be the steal of the draft.
it might be. I really thought it was Laporta at first, but now
Laporta's still good.
Laporta can't be a steal, John. He was the first tight end we picked in our
Laporta's
draft.
great.
Like, that's not a steal for our draft.
Was Kincaid the third tight end? Did Mayer also go ahead of him?
Mayer
I picked Mayer over Kincaid. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you did. Thank you for that.
All I'm saying in terms of
steal of the draft was
tight ends usually don't work out at all, so that's why it's a steal if they work out in any way.
I took C.J. Stroud in the third. That was a steal, and then I traded him.
Oh, you screwed that one up, but
good
job for you by you initially.
Shout out to Troy.
Really want to lock down that Seattle backfield.
Yeah.
Well, it's never made sense that
slicing my team up.
it's never made sense that Buffalo doesn't have a good tight end with this offense. It just feels like a team that needs that sort of outlet. It was Cole Beasley for several years. So as I looked at the tight ends, I mean, Laporta's good, but it was kind of one of those like buzz tight ends that you never know. And the whole Iowa tight end thing. I mean, outside of George Kittle, Hawkinson's now kind of reclamated himself in Minnesota, but it made more sense. And now that Dawson Knox has gone down in Buffalo, suddenly Kincaid's taken off the last 2.5 weeks. Like literally the moment that Knox went down, Kincaid's taken off. I mean, he had 10 catches last week. So I'm bullish on Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, are you hilarious? Dude, everyone was down on Derrick Henry. He's like, that man's done. Like, just it's over. I'm like, and then the last 3 weeks he's dominant again. It's like
there's no one in that offense. Like he's just the only man there that they're like, well, I mean, let's just keep giving it to him, and maybe he'll throw. Maybe he'll run for a touchdown. Like he's just still the guy there.
He only had one bad week, like one horrendous week, and then aside from that, he's been fine. And other fine or really good. So I don't understand the hate. I was never hating on Derrick Henry this year.
Well,
people were.
The big number right there is look at the age. I mean, it was already said earlier on this podcast. I didn't correct Mac, where he's like, who's 30, 31. I mean, everyone imagines, and this is the knock. I mean, again, like the last time I was on this podcast, everyone thinks my team is geriatric because everyone's in their late 20s. Like, and I get it. Like in my mind, Austin Eckler's like 33 years old. I think he's 27, 28. So they're guys that I have a ton of veterans on the team. The biggest thing is going to be health. When you have a team like that, it all kind of revolves around health. I mean, already losing Nick Chubb, Kupp has been battling things, but also it's kind of the tangential injuries as well. That like no Stafford means that suddenly Kupp has had a couple of rough weeks in a row. So health is going to be a big one.
You have some really good like older running backs, but you can't be great forever. I think you do need to draft some running backs going forward or trade for some, because next year, the year after, you might still be okay. But after that, then what? You got to hit on some RBs, or else who are you going to start? Nobody.
I don't know. Nobody. I mean, like, is it a problem drafting last in the first round? I mean, yes, but that also means that you just won a championship too.
Yeah, I mean that's the ultimate goal. I mean, I would sell my soul for a championship. So
I think Chubb is still relevant. I really do. Honestly,
he's the youngest of your RBs.
They at one point thought he was going to have his leg amputated because of his popliteal artery, and then the next moment they're like, "Yep, just an MCL, and we're going to have surgery, and he'll be back next year." It's like that was like the biggest change of degrees of severity they've ever announced. I feel like it's wild.
I can't believe that happened in week 2. I didn't realize that was that early on in the season. God,
yeah.
Man.
As a Browns fan, I think he plays next year.
As a Browns fan, I watched my heart get ripped out when that happened. I thought that was a lot. I was going to see Chubb. I was like, my favorite player. Just watched his last snap, and then literally 2 weeks later, successful surgery, MCL, he'll be back. I'm like, cool, all right, we're back.
Yeah. It did not look good though. I'll say that. For the night that watching that over and over again, not good for Nick Chubb. But Yeah, I hope he's back too. I met him at the Super Bowl we were at, Sterling. Remember that?
Oh, did you?
Yeah, he was at the autograph signing.
Oh, one of the like fan experience at the that's like the coolest part of the Super Bowl is of random people that like you turn a corner, you're like, oh look, there's Orlando Pace.
Yeah, or it was Dan Fouts was there, Deion Branch was there. They had like Emmanuel Sanders. There was a bunch of random, but also like some good ones too.
Yeah, isn't it fun? And this is the most like, oh look, we went to the Super Bowl thing to say, but like there's moments where you see someone, you're like, oh my god, I know who that is, and in your head, like there's no way to Google search like who is this person, and maybe there is like now, but you're seeing somebody go, oh, he plays for, God, I don't know. Like when he doesn't have a name and a number on his back, you're like just trying to place some of these people. And
that was like me in 2007. I saw Sal Palantonio on an airplane. I was like, I know that guy.
I think everyone's seen Sal. I saw him at the Philadelphia airport. I can't remember. We were at the same gate.
He definitely travels a lot because he's an analyst, on-field analyst, reporter. But yeah. So you think you have a chance to win this year, then, Sterling?
I just gotta get in the dance. If I can get in the dance with some health, I mean. I'm looking at, and there are some good teams. I mean, Logan's team is obviously loaded, and he's been building that up. Jake is like Jake and I are like the rivalry of the league. We've played each other twice in the last two postseason. Like he ended my season in the championship 2 years ago because I've been to the championship both years in this league. And then knocked him out with which, by the way, the greatest. I mean, just an iconic fantasy moment when Tyler Higbee put up 35 on Christmas and just literally.
It's a Christmas miracle.
It was because he had 3 studs and a big lead, and Higbee goes for 35. Hopkins put up like 2. I can't remember who else Jake had, but like all 3 of his superstar players put up like goose eggs.
Didn't Janice like not show up? Right? Like he just like shit the bed for him.
Yeah, and it was all on Christmas because there was the 3 Christmas games, and I think it was Tua, Hopkins, and someone else like all put up. Like
let's take a look.
Hopkins, I don't think I can pull it up on a computer, but Hopkins had like 14 targets and 1 catch for like a yard.
Because that was the Trace McSorley game against Tampa Bay where he couldn't even throw it like outside the hashes. So Hopkins was like running routes and the ball was just falling short. And I'm watching.
It's week 17, right?
Would have been week 16, or was it? No, it was the week 15. No, week 16. Because it was the semifinals.
Yeah, because it was the semis.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen gave him 22.
He didn't have Keenan Allen.
Yeah, he didn't have Keenan then. I had Keenan.
Mac did at that point.
Didn't matter because John knocked me out on some bullshit.
But yeah, big lead, and Higbee knocked him out. So yeah, I mean, there's like I was saying, there's some really good teams. I mean, Logan's good. Tyler's, I mean, he's Tyler. So I mean,
you're forgetting to say someone.
Tyler's good.
Ben.
I'll probably knock Tyler out again, just for fun.
Do you think I'm a fake contender? Sterling?
Open up your roster. I honestly haven't looked at your team all season. Okay. Well, you don't get off to a very good start.
Why are you laughing? What is to laugh about here?
When you start with Baker Mayfield to make your point.
I have the Eagles on bye. The Eagles are on bye. I have Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. Why is he questionable?
Okay. Well, have you seen the state of his atrophied leg that he's dragging around right now?
He's okay. He's fine. He doesn't have to do much.
That's what that's every Eagles fan right now. He's fine. It's fine. Just really defensive.
Just like Dallas Goedert is also totally fine, right? I don't know. Sterling, I'm confident with this team, and that's why I said it in such a confident tone right there.
Yeah, I mean, Mixon's good. I mean, I will never get over pronouncing his first name Chuba. If he's Chuba Hubbard, like he's an all
Chuba. It's Chuba.
I know. No, believe me, I know it.
He's good. If they get the opportunity, he's good.
Yeah, if he was Chuba Hubbard, he would be an all-pro, like destined for the Hall of Fame. Chuba Hubbard, he's French. Go back to your roster.
Devon Achan or
Achan.
Come on, that's way cooler.
Yeah. Achan was way better because you could do all the off the chain, headlines. But Achan is like,
there's a lot of opportunity there. But
Ayuk is good. I like Ayuk, but
you need them to fire Arthur. If Arthur Smith is fired, you're good.
Holy shit! How is he? I think he gets fired after this week if they lose again. Just like Bill Belichick might get fired.
I don't think Arthur Smith's going to get fired.
Why not? His mustache is horrendous.
I just look. They're going to be fine. They're going to keep him around. They're going to keep him probably until they get an actual quarterback in the room. And then if he still sucks once they get a quarterback, then they'll be like, all right, dude, we drafted this guy 7th overall. Why aren't you using our star running back?
If they lose to Arizona, he's done.
Kyler's back, man. I don't know. I think that's going to be a trap game. I think Kyler's going to pop off in his first game back.
I kind of hope he does, but at the same time, I just like they have a chance to win this division. Like they're in a very winnable division. The Falcons are. Like if he can't win that division with this roster that he's not using, why is he there?
He's
like,
using Jonnu Smith. Like I have Jonnu Smith buried on my bench. I haven't started him.
He's relevant.
Like week 1, 2 years ago, and suddenly Jonnu Smith is just putting up the numbers we dream for Kyle Pitts.
Yeah. Like I mean, especially that was ridiculous. Wasn't it it was a rushing? No, it was a receiving touchdown, but it was like a screenplay, and he runs 50 yards to the end zone.
No, it was wasn't it like it was a tight end pass? Like Jonnu Smith was throwing it to the other backup tight end while Kyle Pitts was blocking for Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, we talked about this shit last week.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god. Yeah, I mean,
then when they're on
I also saw a quote relevant to this. I saw a very relevant quote. The coach said, Bijan Robinson. Basically, I forgot how the quote exactly went, but he basically said Bijan Robinson makes a fantastic boy in the offense.
Makes a fantastic. I missed what you said. Fantastic what?
A fantastic decoy. Like he's if he's over there, we can run it over. Like he was like talking about him as a decoy. Obviously, he's talented and he's going to get plenty of points. But
Drake London's been. It's crazy how they went from being the most rush-heavy team to not using any of their talented wide receivers and then not running the ball.
I mean, talented wide receivers is a bit of a stretch. They have Drake London and
talented. I look at Kyle Pitts as a receiver because he's kind of built.
Sure.
He's just, I
think London's pretty talented, honestly. Big guy.
I think they're the same player. Recently. I think Kyle Pitts and Drake London are the exact same guy, just different positions.
I think I also saw a stat that Kincaid and Laporta I think they both have 2 games with 10 receptions, and Kyle Pitts has never had more than maybe 8 ever in his career. He has 9. There you go. One game with 9 receptions. That's targets. No, he didn't even have that. He sucks.
I was gonna say I don't think he's had near that many. It just seems like every game it's there's 4 and he has 1 catch.
Well, both those teams do have quarterbacks, though, too. Yeah.
Why was you're a huge college guy? Why was he supposed to be the next best? Like they were talking about him like as like a Saquon Barkley of Dynasty. Like they were just like hyping him up like crazy. No,
Pitts.
No.
Oh, Pitts. I mean,
hyping him up so much. Like he was going 3rd round, 4th round in like redraft, which is like wild.
When a tight end's like draft, obviously, I mean, like he drafted 4 overall, right? Like when you drafted that high, you're that athletic you're an athletic freak. Like, of course, you're gonna be like, if it's used correctly, if he like you put Kyle Pitts on the Bills offense, he's like Jimmy Graham in his prime, like Travis Kelce, like he is electric. But like that's like because he can be that. But when you're on the Falcons, who are a run heavy team that have Desmond Ridder or Taylor Heineke throwing the ball. Yeah, like you're not going to be that. But like from an athletic profile, he ran like sub 4.4, 6'6", 240. That's just not normal. That's a freak. So that's why he was supposed to be like the next greatest thing. But I mean, obviously, it's always about landing spot with these guys too. Look at Bijan, was supposed to be the next best thing, and then on the Falcons.
But it also comes down to expectation, and you hit it on the head. I mean, he goes 4th overall, and I think we'll see that, and it's going to be really fascinating this year with how Brock Bowers is evaluated because, like Logan said, Kyle Pitts was supposed to be – he was the transcendent. People were calling him the greatest tight end prospect ever to come through the combine. And when you put like that level of expectation on a tight end, I mean, if he goes 18 in that draft or in the 20s, 1, he probably goes to a better situation, but 2, it kind of lowers that expectation. And now we see it with Brock Bowers coming out of Georgia, who, I mean, he would have been a top 5 pick last year. He would have been a top 10 pick after his first year at Georgia. Does he go 5 this year? I mean, there's a legitimate chance that after May, Caleb Williams, Joe Alt, Marvin Harrison, I mean, he's being mocked. He's being mocked in that like 5 to 7 range. Will a team look at that? Because I think of it from a Patriots perspective. If you're the New England Patriots and you're picking in the top 5, which is something that hasn't happened in 30 years.
2001? Was it 2000 where they took Belichick or where they took Bledsoe? I mean,
well, they drafted him. They drafted Drew Bledsoe in 1993, number 1 overall. But they took Richard Seymour. I want to say 6.
Okay.
Something like that. So up there, the last time they had a pick in the top 10, they had Gerard Mayo. They could have had him at 8, but they traded back and I think took him at 10 because they flipped the picks.
Football dictionary.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's a Patriots dictionary for sure.
So it's like if you're the New England Patriots, I mean, I would love it if we were a Brock Bowers away from becoming, a playoff caliber football team. But I'm not sure that a tight end is necessarily what you need in that situation. So if you're picking at 5, do you take Brock Bowers or do you, if you can't move up into your top 4 and get a Harrison or one of the quarterbacks?
Why don't we just trade for Kyle Pitts?
I think
that's a
good idea.
I was something like that.
It's kind of a better idea.
Yeah.
The only difference I'll say between Kyle Pitts and Brock Bowers is that Brock Bowers is sneaky, a little bit undersized. So he needs to go into a role that fits him too. I think it's obviously like to your point again, like the draft capital is always huge, but it's about the fit. Like Brock Bowers goes into like a Dalton Kincaid situation where he's in the slot. He's not really asked to be in line too much, and you're going to use him as a receiving option. He's going to do great. But like, I don't know if teams are going to like look at him as like a lock top 5 pick. Because again, when Kyle Pitts went in the draft, there wasn't as many 2 blue chip quarterbacks, 2 blue chip tackles. There's again, wide receivers are off the chain this year. So I think Brock Bowers is going to fall. I hope he goes to a good spot and a good landing spot. But like with tight ends, it is all about situation based. I think again, you look at Kyle Pitts, which I also think he gets a little too much flack because his first year when he's with Matt Ryan throws him the football and he has a decent season. He had 900 yards or something like that.
He had the best rookie tight end season of all time.
Yeah, he had a great.
That's literally what happened.
He had a great season, and then you get rid of Matt Ryan, you put in Desmond Ridder, who can't throw the football 15 yards down the field. That's why Kyle Pitts is impacted. So again, if the Falcons get a quarterback that can throw the football even competently, like a Jared Goff, you'll see his numbers rise. You'll see him improve, unless he's just a total bust and fooled everybody. Because that could also be some crazy case because it's happened before. It'll happen again.
They also need a coach that's going to scheme correctly and use their weapons. Like give him to Kyle Shanahan.
I don't think it's the scheme. I'm telling you, I think it's a quarterback issue, not a scheme issue.
Nah,
Bijan, you can
it's
argue
usage. I mean, if you're not throwing to a guy, we don't even know what Kyle Pitts' talent is at the NFL level, just because they don't use the guy. I mean, look at his targets.
He's
9, 11, 6,
50 snap percentage too. He's in there half the time, and that's probably blocking for 30% of that.
Which isn't his forte. I mean, he can block, but I mean, he's not a guy coming out like a George Kittle or Rob Gronkowski when you're going, oh yeah, this guy can do it all. Like I said, he's essentially a big slot receiver. I think in terms of what he can do, I love the idea of trading. If you're an opportunistic team, I mean, hell, if I'm the Patriots and you can go get Kyle Pitts for
he'd still be on his rookie deal. I mean,
I don't know if they're giving up anything less than a first, maybe multiple picks. I don't see the Falcons doing.
But I don't think a tight end can get that. I mean, unless you're trading Travis Kelce, I don't think you're trading a tight end and getting a 1 back.
I don't know. I mean, he's 23. Again, it's he did have a great season and then one bad season. I don't know. You look at Kyle Pitts.
It's a buy low. I mean, people would obviously know what they're doing, and I think there's a lot of teams that would line up to do it.
I'll say
if you're the Atlanta Falcons, you can't say, yeah, but look what he's done.
I'll say if you're the Patriots and you do that, I would be a little bit confused because I feel like there's just some other things you guys need to address first before you go get a tight end, which is next to running back a pretty luxury pick.
Oh, it's absolutely a luxury pick. And I'm not saying this is the turnaround, but
no, of course not.
Saying as a piece, I'm saying, you go get Marvin Harrison with a top 5 pick, and then you trade for Kyle Pitts. Okay, now you're starting to get into a direction where you got some playmakers on the roster. But
in terms of fantasy, what do you think Kyle Pitts is worth right now in a dynasty league? What is the realistic? What's an offer that you would send if you actually wanted Kyle Pitts on your team? I'm trying to say it from a unbiased.
I don't want him, so it's hard for me to put any kind of if I had Kyle Pitts, I wouldn't take probably less than a first for him.
Okay,
but if I was offering, I'm not going to offer you a first for Kyle Pitts either.
Right. He's in that no man's land. If there was a supplemental round in between the two, that's where you would come because, you wouldn't take anything less than a you wouldn't. You probably
Like if I like for
I
example,
wouldn't offer you a 2.
If I was Sterling maybe last year, like where like Tyler Higbee's my starting quarterback, and I'm a win now team, I'm a juggernaut. If I get a stud tight end and it's like Kyle Pitts' rookie year, maybe you could talk me into it. Like if I know I'm going to be a late first, maybe you talk me into that, but I'm probably going to because he has 900 yards. He's one of the best rookie tight ends. But like now in that offense, most of the competing teams in our Dynasty League already have a pretty solid situation at tight end outside of Ben, who just lost Goddard. Like,
oh, that makes me happy, honestly, because maybe he will just drop out of the top 6. Because I feel like he's a fake team up there. To be honest, he was carried by Mostert and Zach Moss for 90% of the season. Also,
I think Mostert's still going to be relevant through the rest of the year. I feel like even with A-Chain back, like he's still going to be a 14-point guy. Like he's going to get his 1 touchdown and 30 yards and 4 catches, and they'll be like, oh, he got 15 points again. Great.
Do we know how much we're going to see of A-Chan the rest of the season? Like, so I'm in a single season league as well, and I picked up A-Chan as a free agent, and just he gets hurt. He has a huge week. He gets hurt, and then people just were sending me ridiculous offers, and I'm looking at it going, okay, I mean, he's hurt for a month, then he has the bye. You know, how much are they going to push this kid? Especially we already have Mostert. They add Wilson to that lineup. Plus, I mean, it's a Shanahan system, and I mean, going all the way back to the Denver Broncos and Mike Shanahan's offense, I mean, they just pumped through running backs, and it really didn't matter who was carrying the ball after Terrell Davis. I mean, you think of the Olandis Garys and the Tatum Bells and the Mike Bells. It was just whoever they ran through the system, it was going to work. And now you see that Mike McDaniel has already brought in Mostert from San Francisco. He's brought in Wilson from San Francisco. I wonder how much we're going to see of Devin Achane the rest of the season, because like, do you want to risk this guy's future if he's not 100%? I don't know. I think we're going to see more tempered use of him probably for the rest of the season.
I think he was really efficient, even because he didn't get like 70% of the snaps. Like he was in there for like 8 or 9 carries and did a lot with it. So even if they only give him, 10 carries a game at 80% health, I think he's going to be fine for fantasy at least for a flex.
I don't know. I look at the Dolphins in general with their offense, and like the first part of the season was a pretty easy schedule for them. So that offense looks so efficient. That running game is great. But as soon as they start playing these tougher teams, and you see it consistently with Mike McDaniel for some reason, he goes away from the run and just avoids it. So I could see it turning into like a gross committee where, like, to your point, like A-Chain gets like 5 carries, Mostert gets like 6, and then like Wilson gets like 2 or something. I could see it being like a gross committee near the end of the season, especially if they have to be in more pass heavy kind of situation. So I don't know.
He gets very cute. You're right about that, where it's like, oh no, we're going to be a passing team, and they're so good at throwing the ball down the field, yet it's all of these kind of swing pass behind the line of scrimmage. Like, there was a big part of me, and it's also because it's Tyreek Hill, but when he threw the pass like 5 yards back to Tyreek Hill and he just got undressed for a scoop and score, like there was a big part of me inside that was just like, oh yes. Like, not just because it's Hill, but also because like what the play represented and what McDaniel was doing. It's like, throw the ball downfield, throw to open spaces, and let your playmakers outrun because you're a fast offense. Just run it that way. This is what Miami has coming up. They have the Raiders coming out of the bye, which who knows what that looks like.
They're frisky. That's a hot team right now.
Well,
I'm scared of the Raiders.
Yeah, but that lasts like 1 week. You get the 1 week bump where the coach is fired and like, screw him. We're going to play for freaking Antonio Pierce, who's they're going to realize very quickly is a lame duck interim head coach. This is the one I can't wait for. The Black Friday game against the Jets on Friday.
That's going to be gross.
Can't wait to watch that.
I cannot wait for that. Like, because I think that's going to be where we see, can the Dolphins offense against a good defense, can they run away from them and do all the things that they want to do? Because we've seen it with defenses like Buffalo. Can't. No, they get hit in the mouth. Like when you blitz them and you get aggressive with them.
They haven't beat a team with a winning record. Like, they're not.
How much
they haven't shown that they're legit.
How much do you put that on Tua versus McDaniel? When they just like completely fold under with a solid defense. Like, it seems to be like a reoccurring theme where it's like, oh, they're electric, like MVP numbers, like Mike McDaniel, best coach, like he's a genius. And then they play like the Bills, they play the Jets, and all of a sudden they're struggling to get to like 17 or 20 points.
It's divisional too. Divisional's tough.
Yeah, but like, how much do you put on that? Like Mike McDaniel getting too cute, or like Tua, like can he actually like make the big plays, like the plays you pay a franchise quarterback for?
I think they're really good at
Tua's the
winning
real
games
deal.
when they're ahead by 2 or 3 touchdowns, or they know they're playing a bad team. And then when it comes to crunch time, and I don't know how clutch Tua is. I don't think I've seen it enough because they haven't really had that many opportunities to go up against a team where they're down by 6 points at the end of the game. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I just need to see more. I mean, they have to play Dallas. They have to play the Jets twice, which, I mean, that's just a tough defense. They don't really have to worry about the offense. They could win and put up 20 points against the Jets, you know?
Ravens, Bills. The one I want to see, and I kind of hate that this one is in Miami, is when they play Dallas. Because Dallas is that team that they're going to get up on you by 2 touchdowns. They're going to roll to 45. They did to the Patriots. They did to the Rams. Like, when they get rolling downhill, they will blow you out. They did it last year to a good Minnesota team. They did someone else last year. They just rolled to 50 burger. That's what I think that they could do because of that defense. And I think if they can get to Tua and just halt everything that they do, I would love to see that happen in Dallas. Does it happen in Miami? I mean, weird things always happen when they show up in Miami, but I think that Dallas one is going to be a really interesting test because it's a defense that a defensive style that Miami doesn't play well against. Dan Quinn seems like the type of guy who can dial something up that's just going to thwart that Miami offense. But can he do it in Miami? It's always kind of like that great equalizer.
That's why even
I don't
say like the
believe in
Raiders
Miami.
game.
I don't think anyone does. I mean, honestly, outside of a fantasy
Tigers.
purpose.
Yeah, they're paper Tigers for sure. I don't think they're going to actually be ever. And because it's like, you see it's so consistent. When Tua plays like an elite edge rusher, it's as soon as, because that offense is all timing. You slightly disrupt that timing and that offense just completely turns into like nothing. I mean, Tyreek or Waddle might get his, but like that offense
is okay with me.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, it's fine if you own those guys, but like,
has anyone limped off of more fields than Jalen Waddle? Like every single time I watch the Dolphins, there's always a point where I go, Jalen Waddle slow getting up, limps to the bench, and then he has a catch in next quarter, and then limps off. He and Tyreek Hill. Hill does it all the time too, where he finally gets drilled by the sideline, gets up, and you're like, he's hurt. This is it, and then does something ridiculous and has 200 yards. But
right, it's always like, they got to go get their ankle tape. They had that one ankle tape, and all of a sudden, they just rip 100-yarder, and you're like, oh, okay, so like you're fine.
Yeah, and as a division rival, you're going, what does Miami look like without Tyreek Hill? And then you're like, yeah, we're not going to find out. They're going to be.
They're just shifty guys, and there's big when they get hit. Like those guys are bigger than them. They're small. Like look at them. Like. They're 5'10". What do they weigh? What does Tyreek Hill weigh? Like
I think Tyreek's like 5'10". I want to say he's like 180, 190. Like he's kind of like a muscle hamster. And then
I'm the same size as him. Like I'm 6'1".
I think you're maybe built differently, Logan.
Oh yeah,
5'10",
for sure.
190,
But still,
right there, right on the money.
It's size, right? It's like total size. If Parsons hits Tyreek Hill, he's gonna get fucked up. It's like.
Oh yeah, I mean, if Parson gets like a clean shot on most guys that are like at the skill position, they're probably going to be feeling it. There's like very few guys I feel like they go like stand toe to toe with Micah Parsons outside of like your Nick Chubbs, your Derrick Henrys. Like as far as wide receivers go,
pretty much any of my running backs could withstand Micah Parsons. But
yeah, you're the power guy.
None of Logan's. All Logan's are just candy ass.
There's too much finesse over there for Logan.
That's right.
I got the swag.
Old school football over here.
He's wearing the ring and everything. I love it. Is that your championship ring?
Yeah.
No. Oh, that's actually sick. That's no just like trophy smack. That's a legit ring.
That's tough.
Damn. Now I need to win.
John, everyone who wins the championship should get a ring.
Yeah,
I'm not paying for it. Sterling went and bought that himself. If you really want a ring, you can go pay for that ring with the money that you.
Oh, that's for this league.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because that was the first championship you ever won, wasn't it, or something?
It was.
I'm buying a ring.
Do it. I'll send you the link if you win. I'll send you the link.
All right,
that's a sick ring, dude. I would wear that everywhere.
I do.
You go to Starbucks and you grab your drink with it. Be like, oh, what's that? Oh, I don't know. It's one of my Dynasty Championship of 2022.
Like, what time is that?
I'm just a champion. That's all.
You're like, oh, Dynasty. Oh, what do you buy low on these running backs?
I'm a Dynasty. From the Dynasty in the league.
Damn, Logan. So, what do you think you got to shoe in to win the championship?
No.
You're a little nervous.
What?
You're a little nervous.
Can we talk about your trades, Logan?
Why did you trade James Cook?
Okay. The James Cook one was probably bad. I wanted to get a good player in the draft to replace potentially Travis Kelce. So
Okay.
because we'll see how long. And I don't
now?
believe in Cook anymore. To be honest, Cook is I was high on him. Gibbs I hit on. Cook I don't think I did. So it's just where it is. And
Logan,
it's
I almost
otherwise
traded.
my trades. It's
I was willing to
I traded
trade
2
you.
firsts for Tyreek Hill. I traded I've made some trades. I traded for Kelce. I traded a first and Pittsburgh's guy, whatever, Freiermuth. Like, come on, I think my good trades outweigh my bad trades. Like,
I don't know. I think
of
the only
punch
trade
pat.
that you and I have made, Logan, was you traded me, and I'm proud of. I mean, I
gave you Derrick
remember,
Henry.
You gave me Derrick Henry and his brother Hunter Henry, and I think I gave you Kadarius Toney and Chuba Hubbard.
I've never. Nope, neither of them. Definitely.
That might have been with
Chuba
Austin
Hubbard
when
could
he
have been
traded you
involved.
Chubb.
I've only made like 2 trades ever, so
I got a stud out of it. That's
I don't think you got a.
I didn't
get a stud out of
Chuba.
it.
John, pull up that trade.
Wait a minute. This
that
is
not the trade. That was not the trade.
Wait,
no, that's the one I made with Jake.
Kadarius Toney and Chuba Hubbard. I would never give those 2 for Derrick Henry. I guarantee.
Logan, look at all the trades you've done. Jesus God. Okay.
Yeah, and look at my team in first place, right? Like it's.
Yeah, until the trade you just did, I think
you get fleeced. It happens. But I was smart enough to trade all my first round picks and have a stacked team
between
now,
you and Sterling. No, it would have been back here. It was last year.
It was before last season.
Oh,
it was before I got in the league.
It was so long ago.
Oh, I just remember Derrick Henry and Hunter. Logan, I will say this trade was immediately after you traded me Jalen Hurts for Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Ooh,
that was another one.
Yeah.
That we don't have to talk about.
Let's wait on that one. Let's hold.
I can't find it right now.
Trey Lance.
Oh,
that was not the trade straight up. Come on.
No, okay. So it was like
Dude,
I'll pull it up right now. Trey Lance. This is important to talk about. Where is it?
You can't be making me look. This is like the news just targeting and like.
Oh, it doesn't come up.
I'm pretty sure I had a good trade. Like it was, you win with Jalen Hurts on that for sure.
It was. So I think the trade was I give you Derrick Henry.
I think I got ET. No,
I know I got it off the top of my head. It was Trey Lance. I give you Trey Lance. I give you Darnell Mooney. I give you Derrick Henry, and there might have been one other person. And you gave me Dobbins, Jalen Hurts, and maybe a wide receiver.
Mooney.
It felt even at the time.
And Mooney.
You have it, Mac?
It was Derrick Henry, Chris Godwin, Trey Lance, and a 2022 second-round pick for J.K. Dobbins, Jalen Hurts, Darnell Mooney, and a 2022 first-round pick.
Who's 2022 second?
Terrible.
Mine? John's 2022 second, yeah.
I wonder who that turned into. 2022
January 2022. So like you didn't know about Hurts. Like I don't think you can get dogged for that, Logan.
I was offering Hurts.
Nobody knew he was doing that. Yeah.
To everybody. And
that was right before
him.
His breakout year. Like in the year before, it was like he's like mid. I mean, he was all right, but it was nothing crazy.
Everyone thought he was going to lose his job. Like and nobody wanted him. Like it was crazy. Just like nobody wanted Lockett, and then I traded him during the draft, and then I was an idiot. So it is what it is. Dynasty's tough. But yeah, Mac, what about you?
The way it's turned out,
you're gonna be fine, Logan. Mac, what about you? What's your path to victory here? What's your plan? You know,
I don't want as far as victory this year. I don't want a victory this
year.
When
how much money are you willing to spend on league dues until you get a championship?
I think I'll be competitive next year. I have a lot of people that are showing promise this year. I still have Josh Allen. I have A-Chain. He's gonna come back next year. I got Dotson, Garrett Wilson. I think Michael Mayer can be something, but if not, fuck it, I'll draft Brock Bowers with one of my 5 first-round picks this year. Like, I'm going to have Marvin Harrison probably. Yep. I might draft Caleb Williams just for shits and giggles. Like, dude, I'm probably going to be – I'll be frisky. I'm not going to be winning anything probably next year, but I'll be fine.
You'll be this year's Ben.
5 firsts is unbelievable, man. That's just – you have Ben's, who I think he's going to start dropping. He'll at least be a mid-first.
I have mine, Frank, Austin's, Ben's, and Jake's. So, like –
yeah,
pretty good spread across the entire first round there.
And right now,
my question is,
go ahead, Logan.
I don't think Ben is that good. I think he's pretty good, but like
no, it's about max points.
Who's gonna jump him right now?
It's not even about record. It's about points for it. Trust me, I've been very in on it, checking points for every single week. I'm interested to see how this draft order turns out, because right now there's quite a few teams that are like 2-7, and they're picking after teams that are like in the positive. So it'll be pretty interesting to see how that kind of shakes out. Like Dane is picking 8th right now, and he's 2-7. Like
Yeah,
that's shitty.
Yeah, and then Connor's 5-4,
and he's picking higher. Troy is like threatening a playoff spot, and he's picking like he's the second overall pick right now. Like, it's bullshit,
so
to be honest.
it goes right now in terms of points. Max points for not Max. It would be
Me,
it would
Troy,
go
Frank, Austin.
you, Troy, Frank, Austin, Connor, me, Sterling, Dane, Ben still at 4th. That's crazy that Ben's all the way up there. Logan, Tyler, Jake. Yeah.
No, it's been I don't. We'll see how
Tyler's
this goes.
ahead of me.
Logan, Tyler's ahead of you by not much, by like 40. Not even.
My 80-point week did that.
All I'm gonna say is that if people that are projected like the number 2 overall pick make it in the playoffs, I think we got to go back to a record-based thing.
Nah, I don't think
this
so.
whole points 4 thing is just gonna end up screwing a lot of people that just.
What if
suck
points
at
4
setting
was just a
lineups.
tiebreak?
I think that's what it should be. Yeah, that's what would make more sense. Or for the top 4 picks, you can do that. But after that, like,
I don't think it's that much. It's not that much different from the actual standing.
John.
Dane is the outlier here. Dane's by far the outlier. He's 2-7. He's just gotten absolutely railed.
What about Troy? Troy's got 4 wins. He's not far behind you, John. As far like
Troy has 3
can steal
wins,
your
and
playoff
he has the
spot.
second worst.
Oh, he only has 3.
Yeah, he's 3 and 6. He's
3.
only one.
See,
Yeah, I don't know.
Connor's the only one you guys are scared of.
I think
No,
Dane
I think the
Dane,
playoffs is the playoffs. Honestly,
Dane's just made the worst start and sit decision. Somehow he has. I don't know how he's 2-7.
Hey, Lockett's tough to guess coming from someone who's got him. He's tough to know.
Yeah, I mean, Dane has a good team. He's got freaking DJ Moore. Like, he's been great this year.
Gabe
DeAndre
Davis
Swift
has his times right now.
He has Amari Cooper. Like, he has like a solid roster.
I don't know. The only way I look at it is like, hypothetically, in this system, you can be the 6th overall or the 7th overall pick and then win the whole league. So you can be a champion and then have a pretty decent first round pick. Like, I think that if I don't know, I think that the playoffs should weigh in a little bit there. That's just one man's opinion, though.
It's not a bad thought. I see where you're coming from there. I think just in terms of simplicity, this is why we would just win max points for instead of being.
Oh no, I mean, it makes sense simplicity wise for you. It's the same reason like with adding a new league mate. There's like, yeah, you just dealt a shitty hand, dude. Like, sorry.
Yeah. You and Troy, we're thankful that you even joined the league with some of the teams that you guys had to acquire. Especially
my team was great. What are you talking about? I had a win now team. I didn't have to do anything.
That's actually true. Troy, not so much. But yeah, Sterling, any parting words from you today before we let you go?
No, not really. How was that roast, by the way? Like, what?
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie to you. Really good. I ate some of it while you guys were.
What sort of roast are we talking? Is this like a pot roast? Is this?
It's a pork roast that had like bacon on top of it. So it was double pork. And then I had a bacon Caesar salad next to it. So I was kind of like mixing the pork from like the bacon from the actual roast into the salad. So it was pretty fire. I'm not gonna lie to you.
So is this like a weird like proper meal thing that you do like by yourself in this basement that you inhabit? Like,
there's not a basement. This is a living room. I know it looks a little disheveled behind me right now, but I just took the TV down. So
is that a foosball table?
No, I have a 65-inch TV sitting in a box over there that I'm about to put up.
It's so dark. You talked about my darkness. This is you're even darker.
Yeah, I was gonna say like this is okay if it's a basement, but the fact that your living room is truly a sad indictment of your life.
It was okay when it was a basement.
We don't have to talk about my sad, depressing life on every episode of this podcast.
John,
I mean, I'm not on it enough.
Disc golf.
I did play disc golf today because I worked from home, so that was my way of working from home.
Maybe a roast when I come play disc golf.
Okay, I'm down. Absolutely, I'll make you whatever you want, Logan, as long as it's keto
John.
friendly.
If I eliminate you from the playoffs, I want a roast. Like I think whoever ends your season gets a roast.
Like I make you a roast, or you get to roast me.
Both. I mean, I definitely want both.
Okay.
I mean, wait, I play you this week, right?
Nah, we've already played. I beat you. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
last week I beat you.
That's right. I'm playing Tyler this week.
Ooh,
know,
yeah, that's a must win.
Ooh,
I
tough.
want you to win that matchup. Quite bad, honestly.
I might do that.
You
I might. I mean,
you shouldn't want him to win that.
Well, I just maybe because I
You
just like to
shouldn't.
see Tyler in pain. He has COVID right now, so
Yeah, Tyler's making playoffs.
Damn.
There's no question about it. He's 8-1.
yeah. Well, actually, nobody's locked
He's-
in technically. Nobody has clinched yet, so you never know.
I guarantee it's like 96% 8-1 make playoffs or something.
Wait,
It
how
is.
many games
But-
again did we play? 12? 16?
14.
yeah,
'cause
it
it's
goes on for a
quarterfinals.
while. Because
How can you have 8 wins and not have clinched the playoffs?
Because I have this brutal stretch right now where I just had John, I have Tyler this week, and I think I have Jake next week.
There's 5
it's
more
just like-
weeks. 5 more
Yeah.
weeks of regular season. So in theory, Logan could go 8-6, and then Troy could
but we
go.
need other stuff to happen.
Troy could take only Dane couldn't. Is Dane eliminated from playoffs? Dane Mac.
No, I'm just saying because you're
Frank.
8. Like, no, not at all. Not even Frank's eliminated yet. I don't think.
Frank at
0-9's not
0-9.
eliminated.
Frank's
think so.
0-9. He has to be eliminated.
He's got to
Frank,
be. Yeah. I
he
just
might,
did-
he
if
might
it's
beat
5 more
Jake this week,
games.
by the way.
Like
Oh,
if
that'd-
let's say
that'd be
Sterling
hilarious.
loses
Frank's
every
eliminated.
matchup, then Sterling would be 5. Sterling would be 5-9, and then Frank would be 5-9. So technically, if Frank got more points than Sterling, then he could leapfrog to 6th place.
Frank got unlucky with Quentin Johnston. I
No,
hope he's a thing.
anyone
but...
could see that.
Yeah, at least so far.
No.
Madison's been looking
They
better.
could. They
Chargers.
could. Okay.
Quentin Johnson was never going to be it.
I might try to
He's never
trade
going to
Frank for
be
Alexander
the
Madison.
new.
You can't be a big body, go get it wide receiver that body catches and can't high point the football. I mean, like, he's just not.
Yeah.
This is his week though. With Josh Palmer's on the IR, if Quentin Johnson doesn't have a game, then I'm going to be really worried about him.
Dude, last week should have been his week.
He had 2 catches for 14 yards.
Yeah,
Jeez.
It's not
It
good.
was a good. I mean, it was a good.
Yeah,
the first, like he's not.
Could he
He's
have
so-
had Addison?
Addison.
No, Connor took Addison. I think right
Okay.
after it went Bijan, Gibbs,
No,
JSN.
JSN Gibbs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, JSN, and then it was Addison, I believe, or
Addison's
Flowers.
4. Okay. I almost took Addison. I really did. I was like,
At 3.
yeah, I was, but I'm still glad I took Mixon. Both would have been good looking.
You mean Gibbs? Yeah.
Yeah, Gibbs. I mean,
You took
Addison's
Mixon
been
in the-
great.
Yeah.
He's been awesome.
Yeah. I mean, he was a top. He was a wide receiver 1 going into last week. I don't know if he still is, but he's still good. You know, I mean, if
I fear he's going to have a tough last part of the season here with Dobbs throwing him the football and Justin Jefferson back. I think that could. I mean, hey, who knows? Josh Dobbs might be the next second coming of like Christ. He could really
he could
have
be
it.
like Ryan Fitzpatrick, dude. He could just be
But-
the journeyman.
I saw him play
guy.
with the Cardinals, and he couldn't even really support Hollywood Brown. So like, I don't really see him being able to support 2 like top 20 fantasy like receivers plus Hawkinson.
Hey,
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, that's a lot to ask for, and I think they're going to run the ball.
sell
more.
high on your Vikings, he's saying.
I don't think they're going to run the ball more either because, I mean, like, who do they have back there? I think it's
They could just murder Madison into the defensive line if they want to. You know?
I think it's going to be Josh Dobbs run around, throw it to Justin Jefferson on a slant, and hope for the best.
Yeah, I mean that's great if you're a Jefferson owner. Would you trade for Jefferson right now? If you're like, let's say you're like 6-4 in a redraft league, you know, you have a good roster. Do you trade like a 2-for-1 for Jefferson to a team that hasn't done so well?
I mean,
How about
maybe,
my-
but like
how
what?
about-
What Jefferson owner is going to trade him away?
Oh, I'm considering. I'm not going to, but he's not playing this week. I'm 5-4, and I'm in 7th place.
All right, Sterling's heading out. Sterling, give us what team are you picking for survival football this week? Who's gonna win?
You talk about just like of the NFL slate.
You gotta pick somebody. Survival football. Pick one.
the
If you
hell?
get it
All
right,
He'll make you a roast.
yeah, I'll make you a roast. Yeah,
So I could just pick anyone. Like they've just got to win this week.
yep. You got to pick one team, and don't pick like like the
Make it exciting.
yeah, make it fun. Make it
Mm.
fun. You know,
This is like a terrible slate of games too. By the way,
oh, that's too bad.
Well,
That's
no, I mean
the
just
Chiefs, the Dolphins, and the Eagles are all on bye. That's why.
well, but like I mean the
Survival
prime.
football.
Dear God. I mean Monday Night Football's Bills Broncos, Sunday Night Football's Jets Raiders. We got Bears Panthers on Thursday, and then Colts Patriots
Yikes,
9:30 out of
gross.
Germany.
Bears,
Like just the
Jesus.
games that they're highlighting as the NFL are looking. It's just
It's our Jaguars, 49ers.
Jaguars Niners is like
probably
sneaky.
the best game.
Yeah, that's probably the best. I mean, like Vikings Saints from a curiosity standpoint. Like
Browns
isn't
Ravens
bad.
is gonna be a good game.
If the Giants didn't just lose Daniel Jones and also weren't absolute shit, that would maybe be a good game. You know, I don't know.
A lot of ifs there,
No,
John.
it's-
A lot of ifs.
I know. Yeah, in an alternate universe, that might be an okay game to watch.
I mean,
Chargers,
if
Lions.
I just have to pick a winner, I mean, like I'm just gonna take the Buffalo Bills to beat the Broncos.
All right,
Hey, Broncos just beat the Chiefs.
that's true. That means that
in
they're
Denver.
better.
Yeah, in Denver. This one is in Orchard Park
Okay.
on a Monday night. Let's see if Russell can travel. I mean, there's.
All right,
you know what you want to be interesting? I'll go. I'll take the Titans over the Buccaneers.
Ooh,
I like that.
Okay.
I like
I'll
that.
like that.
After
I'll about
shitting
this.
on the Titans.
No, Titans over the Buccaneers. I'll take them. I'll take Will Levis over Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All right, let's see if you get 1-0, then that's better than me because I've done the worst so far this season at survival football. We all lost. Actually, no, Jake won last week, but yeah. Cool. What about you, Max Sterling? I guess we'll say bye to you, buddy. Thank you so
All right.
much for joining, and maybe I'll give you some season tickets at some point.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. I mean, I've only been to 4 home losses this season, though all of them from excellent seats. But yeah,
Look you got on the field this week. That looked pretty fun.
I did. I was
Yeah.
surprised getting
What?
post game field passes and getting to run around on the field that the Patriots had just lost to Washington on. But
Do they let you kick a field goal?
they did give us they throw you like Nerf balls and stuff. So me and my buddy were running like pass patterns with Nerf balls in the end zone and stuff. And then
That's sick.
That's
we
amazing.
got to go up on the in the lighthouse. We got to go up to the top of that. So that was
Oh my god.
dude, the view from the top of the lighthouse, like they point out that you can see Providence and you can see Boston in the other direction. Like it's insane.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks
All
for
right.
joining us. Sterling the Champ signing off. We'll see you next time.
Later, gentlemen.
See ya.
Later, Sterling.
Cool. Yeah, so Sterling gone. Mac, who do you got for survival football this week?
I am going to be taking. I got to make sure I see who they're playing. I'm going to be taking the. Where are they? Lions over the Chargers.
Lions over the Chargers.
Lock it in. Motor City.
Damn. Okay,
I
Lions over the
honestly-
Chargers. Yeah, that's an interesting
Chargers
choice.
are going to lose by 1 touchdown, and it's going to be 35-28 or something. It's
I don't think the Chargers are going to score that much. They got too many injuries. I think the Lions are going to be hot. They're going to be electric.
That is the thing. I think the Chargers, I think they're gonna have there's gonna be hope and they're gonna give their fan base hope, and then they're gonna lose. Like they always do.
That's what they always do.
Yeah. That's just the Chargers for you. Logan, who do you got? You got survival football.
Who do I got in survival football? What I'm looking at right now is the Jets Raiders, and I think the Jets are going to beat the Raiders, but I'm not going to go with that. I'm going to take, in my head, Josh Dobbs still hasn't proven himself on that offense. I think they made
give him
a
a chance.
great game script. I'm going to take the Saints over the Vikings. I think Josh Dobbs is going to
In
have a
Minnesota,
bad game. Yeah, I think Josh Dobbs is going to have a bad game.
I don't know. I feel like the home field advantage, that could be too much.
I got Kamara going off. I got the Vikings losing to the Saints.
Wow. I mean, I would like that for my work league team that I'm currently in first place. Those are the only leagues I can do well in, is if my work league against people that don't know any better.
So people that just don't know about football, you dominate.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. You should see my team in my work league. It is disgusting. It is a disgusting roster.
What's
Can
in
you read it
it?
out?
It's like a 6-man league.
No, it's a 12-man league. My roster, bro, is Justin Herbert, Jameer Gibbs, Alvin Kamara, Brandon Ayuk, Michael Pittman, Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin, Raheem Mostert. Yeah, and Jordan Addison. Like I'm fucking.
You're in
7-2.
first place, right?
Yeah, 7-2 first place. Yeah, done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Let's
fucking
see.
sandbagger.
Wait, who'd you pick? You picked the.
I picked the Saints over the Vikings. To be honest, that's a 50-50 game in my opinion, but it makes it fun.
Just so you guys know, since Jake and Tyler aren't here, we get to pick a team for them.
Ooh, that's
Cardinals.
fun.
Jake's picking the Cardinals over the Falcons, and I feel great about that pick. To be honest, that was almost mine.
Wow.
I think we should give.
Kyler's first game back against the Falcons, who
wait, has Jake picked the Patriots?
No, he likes
should
to
we
pick
give
against
Jake the
the
Patriots? Should we give Jake the Patriots and make him root for the Patriots?
Who do they play this week? Oh, the Colts. Okay, I feel like he wins though. I feel like the Patriots. Well,
no, I feel like the Colts win. I feel like the Colts win. That are you kidding me?
Damn it! Well, he's already picked the Colts.
Has he picked the Bengals yet? You could have him do Bengals over the Texans.
I think that's
yeah. I still like picking the Cardinals for him.
I think here's the thing. I think the Cardinals actually do upset the Falcons. Like I think they beat the Falcons.
Damn, we forced because Tyler wasn't on the pod last week, so we forced him to get the Cardinals, and they lost. So
this is going to be in Arizona. Kyler's first game back. Like,
I think Cardinals could easily win.
Yeah, I think that could be a frisky team.
What's like a guaranteed loss?
A guaranteed loss?
Yeah, what's like a guaranteed loss? Like the Broncos versus the Bills. Did he take them yet?
Could do.
You did not take the Broncos yet.
What if
you could do the Panthers
versus Seattle?
Washington Commanders versus Seattle.
I think Seattle wins that game.
I don't know. Commanders looked kind of good against the Eagles. They looked very good.
Yeah, they kind of kicked the shit out of the Patriots.
If you're looking for like a guaranteed loss, you could
Dallas over Giants.
Oh, I mean.
Ooh, the Giants. He's already picked the Giants actually week 2 and they won.
Oh, what was the one you were guaranteed loss, Mac?
I was gonna say he picks the Panthers against the Bears. I do not.
Yeah.
The Bears might be meh, but they're gonna beat the Panthers.
And then at least we would know tomorrow if he loses, and that would be nice for me. Okay, we can give him the Panthers. I'm good with that.
Panthers.
All right, Panthers for Jake. What about Tyler? Are we nice to Tyler?
I think we should give Tyler an exciting game. Let's give him something exciting. Let's give him. You know
Texans,
what? Let's be mean to him. Let's give Tyler the Jets.
Oh, I think I've already. No, he has not picked the Jets.
Tyler has to root for the Jets this week. No, I'm just kidding.
Or we could give him the Colts, so he has to root against the Patriots.
No,
he would hate that.
Don't do that to him.
I thought we were trying to be mean. No,
you guys have nothing on the line.
You could have him pick the Ravens, so he has to root for Jake's team.
I like that.
That seems like he could win that one, though. We don't want him to win.
Oh, we don't want him to win?
He did pick them week 1.
That's not a sure win. That's a good game. That's a good football game.
Well, it is in Baltimore, though.
I think that we need to help
Browns can beat any team, honestly. That's a good game.
Yeah, well, if Deshaun just shows up, yeah. Have him take if you want to be nice to him, has he picked the Cowboys yet?
He has, yes, and they actually lost.
Oh, give him the Steelers over the Packers.
I think that's going to be a gross game. So
that could be spicy.
I think it's going to be that'll be a 12-17.
Yeah, let's give him that. That'll be a fun matchup. I think that could go either way.
It could.
And honestly, so could the Panthers. You never know. But no. Probably not. But
no.
And then why don't we do the Grim Reaper pick? That's definitely not my voice, and I definitely didn't make that myself. The Grim Reaper pick of the week.
Is that your voice?
Man, oh man. Yes, it is my voice.
That sounds pretty good.
Thank you. Did I pick the Patriots yet? I have not. You know what? Over the Colts? Am I trying to win, or am I trying to make something, just root for my team? I'm not really sure yet.
It's in New England, so that is.
It's actually
Bill
in
Belichick's on the hot
seat. It's in Germany.
It's in Germany.
I hate that. You can't pick a game in Europe, John. That is just a danger zone. No, it's a danger zone, man.
I can't pick a game in Nazi Germany.
It's not.
Sorry to the Germans. That was a bad joke.
Yikes,
John, just pick the Seahawks.
I can't. I think I already picked the Seahawks. I picked them week 1. They lost, so fuck them. This is how bad I am at survival football. I lose week 1 every year.
Pick the Packers. Pick them to upset the Steelers.
Oh, that way I can root against Tyler. I like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a fun
I
little
like
game.
that because that means if the Steelers lose, I win, and then I gain a game on Tyler. Okay, I'll go with the Packers this week. Yep.
Aaron Jones comeback week.
Yeah,
That's
Aaron
what I'm
Jones
talking
popping
about.
off.
All right, I
Aaron
like
Jones
it.
popping off for 140-2 coming right up.
I hope, man.
All right.
too.
You guys want to talk about Brittany Mahomes again, or you want to sign off for the show?
I don't want to talk about Brittany Mahomes. I'll talk about football more, but I'm not talking about Brittany, John.
we could talk about our league a little more, but it's
Nah.
John, who do you think in our league is going to win the championship? If you had to bet $1,000 right now,
If I had to bet
someone
money,
forced you gunpoint, took your cash, but they will give you the wins.
oh my god, that's horrible. I hate this.
This is put yourself
Especially
in that,
from you
get
asking
yourself
it.
in that situation.
It's so tough because like honestly, like look at last week. Tyler put up what, like 80 points. You know, like it's just who's to say who's gonna win the league? If you ask me what NFL team has the better chance, I'd probably be better at that, but maybe not.
I think
The
it's
Grim
Tyler.
Reaper.
I think it's Tyler, to be honest with you. I'm sorry,
Wow.
Logan, but I think it is.
It could
might
be
just
Tyler.
Tyler.
Tyler's
He's
team
got-
is stacked.
I mean, his starting running backs right now are Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs, and then he has Alvin Kamara and Travis Etienne both on his bench. I mean, Alvin, like, that's his team. Like, he can put both of them.
Mark Andrews.
Yeah. Like,
And he is Lamar Jackson. Let's not forget. I mean,
or
CeeDee
Trevor
Lamb.
Lawrence, like whoever he wants to put in.
His team
like,
is I was scared of his team. We
DK
went
Metcalf,
a goose egg of a
like-
matchup, but
Metcalf has not done him any favors this year, I will say. He's not helped him win any matchups. He's the wide receiver 46. He kind of sucks this year.
He might turn it around.
Seattle's going
guys.
to Lockett, JSN,
I think
Chardonnay.
that
they bring it all over.
I think that Gino's going to continue figuring it out, and I think that DK will finish out fine.
I'm gonna say me. I think
if you
I've sold everything.
I don't think Jake's gonna do it, I'll say that.
I have one trade on the horizon that I'm going to do my best to make happen, and then that should help my chances even more for a player that I don't know.
Can we have some inside scoop on that?
Nope.
Is it a tight end?
Nope. It's not a tight end. I don't think I need a tight end. I have Kyle Pitts. He's generational. And honestly, Logan Thomas he's the tight end 14. That means he's up there.
He's in serviceable, yeah.
John's clearly going for a running back.
Maybe. Why? Because I fucked up
Hubbard.
and traded David Montgomery for Miles Sanders.
Who's gonna give you a running
you did
back?
fuck up.
I don't know. I'll just say it now. I'm gonna get Alexander Madison off Frank.
I'm fine with that. Don't give him a pick. I'll be fine with that.
I'll give him his one pick back for Alexander Madison. That's what I'll do.
That helps Mac, honestly.
Yeah, I love that. Are you kidding me?
I don't think anything I do is gonna hurt Mac at this point.
If you give him a player, it will.
I don't think.
Why do you think?
Right.
Why do you think I said? Why do you think I said
battle.
Logan to Troy? Why do you think I told Logan to go trade with Troy?
What do you mean?
Logan was trying to talk to me about Cook originally, and I was like, no. Go talk to Troy.
He offered me Cook for Mixon straight up, and I almost did it. I don't know why you went and got a pick instead. I feel like that was just.
Dude, I don't believe in him anymore, and I'm trying to get the tight end. I'm trying to get a tight end, and I fucked up thinking it was not a snake, but
Yeah, I thought there was going to be more in there. I thought you both were going to like throw in some other stuff. And,
originally, it was, and then I was just like, fuck it, like.
Yeah.
I just want to do something.
Do you also not believe in Gibbs anymore? Because I'd be willing to take him off.
I believe in Gibbs. I've been watching him play. I believe in Gibbs.
All right.
I believe in Gibbs. I believe in a lot of my team, and I believe honestly, like, I'm a little slim on running back, but like,
go trade with Austin.
Cook solves all my issues.
Go get Javonte Williams from Austin. Get all of Austin's players off his team too.
I wouldn't mind getting Javonte for the home
stretch. Take Austin's players. Take Frank's players. Take Ben's players. Take all those guys. Get them off their teams.
Do you think Austin would give me Brees and Javonte for the Falcons' backfield?
No. Oh,
I actually kind of want Javonte.
I mean, he's a Jets fan, so Brees would be tough. But like,
I'm a Brees owner. Did
you take that
Robinson for like and Tyler Algier for like Javonte,
And Brees.
and maybe like Cole Kmet or one of his tight ends. Like, I don't know. That's kind of spicy, dude.
Yeah.
That could go either way. Bijan could still be absolute dominant.
But would you? You're gonna
CMC,
bail.
like-
You're gonna bail on Bijan this early?
Your name is
I'm
Bijan
just
forever.
thinking out loud. I'm really thinking out loud. I don't
Oh, it
know. I
wasn't,
just
it
think
was.
I think that there's options there. I don't know what Austin's willing to do. I mean, I really don't.
I've
He's
heard
got-
rumors that he's willing to get rid of a tight end. That's what I've heard.
I mean, geez, he's McBride. If he's not going to win this year, he might as well just roll with
He has-
him and get
He has
value for
Kmet,
that.
like he's got he's got some good tight ends. He's got like a decent quarterback room. Like I was kind of getting a little antsy this offseason. I thought like Josh Allen for like Deshaun and Justin Fields and like maybe a pick. Like I'll go.
I was trying to get him off you.
I just couldn't get a haul like you got for like Connor got for Herbo. I wanted a haul, but I couldn't get one.
I wonder if I could
had
get-
picks then. I didn't have picks anymore.
I know you don't. I hate it.
I
You
had
think
him.
he would trade? You think he would trade Kmet and Higgins for Kyle Pitts?
No, I don't think he'll do that. That's really terrible for him. That's not even slightly helpful.
What do you mean?
You're giving him Kyle Pitts, a guy who has not like delivered for Cole Kmet, who's been pretty damn good this offseason, and T. Higgins, who even if he leaves the Bengals, is still going to be a top 20 receiver.
What about Pitts and Treylon Burks for Higgins and Cole Kmet?
No, he's
For
not
a
going to
team
do that.
For a
That's-
team that he's not going to win next year, the year after. Wouldn't
If
you
you
rather
threw
sit
him
on
a-
these guys?
If you threw him a first round pick, maybe he's going to think about it. But like that's no,
crazy. I don't have.
Are
a
you
first.
saying yes to that? If you have T. Higgins and Kmet and you get that offer, are you taking that?
It depends on what how I feel the rest of my team is going to do, and give me a chance.
Even
to
if you
champion.
haven't win a
Nah.
game, you're not taking that. Even if if you're Frank, you're not taking that. That's ridiculous.
Frank might take that. I
I
don't know.
take that
Frank-
because he's drunk.
Exactly.
That's why
You
Frank might take
gotta know your league. That's the best advice I can give anybody is just know your league, know what know how to make them tick. But yeah, I think we can call it for now. But if you made it this far, thanks so much for listening, watching on YouTube and all that. Have you guys been watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify?
Depends on the day. Some weeks I watch on YouTube. Sometimes I listen on Apple Podcasts.
Okay. Oh, Apple
Sometimes I put
Podcasts.
like the very beginning on YouTube, maybe like 10, 15 minutes, but then
Then
I'm
you turn
like,
it off.
right now I'm doing home visits. So like I'm driving house to house, and in between the drive, I just put the pod back in for 20, 15 minutes. And then like I listen throughout the day.
Yeah, like when I'm
Respect that.
home, like working from home, I'll definitely throw it on the TV as like background noise.
The
What's that?
TV. Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
Fire Stick, dude. You can just do that.
Yeah, I love that.
But like, I will say the Brittany Mahomes segments have gotten a lot longer.
Too
Yeah,
long.
I know, it's great.
fast-forwarding.
They've gotten a
great.
little too long. John, I'll say this as a friendly tip. Maybe shorten it down just a smidge because it's like 15 minutes now, and I'm like, I can't do it. I have to skip through.
The
I had a hard
guys,
time
the
even
guys
trying to read
engage
it
too
today,
much with
that
it. It's wild. They just keep it going. when I'm
You do get Jake engaging, and I
You
think
get him
it's
every
because
time.
I think you try to move the conversation. I think that's your whole goal is just to get engagement from those two.
yeah.
So when we had a Brittany Mahomes segment without you, a season Brittany Mahomes segment, you build it, you evolved it. Like I didn't know what to do. I'm like, and then we were about to. What was I supposed to ask Sterling about Brittany Mahomes? Like
I know that was my whole. Okay, so like my whole
so done with that immediately.
intention.
he's like,
was
are
like,
you a troll?
because he wasn't here last time we were on the show with him. We didn't do that. Like how he showed up halfway
Honestly,
through the
I'm
show.
willing
Spliced him in
for
how you've done
Devontae.
with like how you did with me. You like spliced him in.
Yeah, and I just don't think he knew. What are you doing right now? You doing straight for Javonte?
I'm gonna trade for Javonte right now. I'm gonna give
In
him
Dynasty?
in
Who you
Dynasty.
gonna give him, Logan? Who you gonna give him, Logan?
I
Tell
would
us.
give him Ken Walker Charbonnet and go get Javonte. Win this year.
Ooh,
I don't like that.
I don't
for
know
me.
if I would do that, Logan. Ken Walker's fine. What?
Yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah,
Don't
but
do
he's
that.
been
Don't do that.
they've been
Don't do
splitting 50-50.
Don't
It's
do
been
that.
50-50.
Logan, listen to me. Listen to me, and
Don't
I'm
do that,
gonna say
Logan.
this as your friend.
Look at where your
The
team
Denver
is right now.
Broncos.
Yeah, that's
will
why I
not-
haven't made any trades. I've been
Stop
chilling.
making
the
trades.
Denver Broncos.
Stop.
Logan, listen. The Denver Broncos will not be in game scripts that will allow Javonte to get 28 carries again.
Javonte will be good next year. Like that is not a win now move. Like look at the trades you just made.
No,
right? You got rid of Jahan Dotson.
I made a couple bad ones. I made a couple bad ones.
You got rid of Dotson.
Ford
immediately goes
on
off.
Paper, Ford on paper was looking. Dotson has his games. Last year he had touchdowns. Like he needs touchdowns.
Yeah, he needs touchdowns. And then you've got like, I mean, look, I'm not gonna rip you for the Cooks trade because I actually kind of can understand your thought process. Like they brought in Leonard Fournette. They can't pick a running back. Like obviously, fantasy wise, you
look
don't
at Zach
want
Moss
that
now.
Right, like you don't want that backfield for sure. But like, I wish you just got the Troy's pick and not Tyler's. That's the only thing.
I thought it was an early second. I thought it was an early second when I.
We've never done Snake. It's never.
No,
been
I know.
Snake.
I forgot. He sent me. Here's the worst part. This is gonna make me look worse. He sent me the early second, and then I rejected it and sent him the late second.
No, I was
God.
Well, because I was talking to Troy. To be honest, I told her, I'm like, hey,
I forgot it was
Logan.
I thought it was a snake. I
was like, Logan's gonna come barking up your way for James Cook or to give you James Cook. So I think you should make that move. And then he goes, yeah, he sent me the late second. I smashed it immediately. I was like, I wasn't even gonna think about it.
And Logan, I looked at it and instantly closed the thing. Like I didn't even put the trade through until this evening.
I thought it was a snake. Oh.
Hey, but Method Your Madness, you're the #1 team in our league right now. So like,
I got my shit figured out. I've been dogged more
than
than anyone because I've made more trades than anyone. It's like, and clearly the trades have ended on the better side. Plus drafting Amon-Ra and Waddle and the.
You're playing the game.
That helped.
That's all I can say. I want people in this league to play the game.
Trading the picks. I
will say
picks. I traded them before the draft.
I will say if fucking Frank gets Marvin Harrison Jr. for Dalvin Cook, I might quit the league. Honestly, I'll be so fucking pissed off. That is the most null and void, terrible. Like that shit. Like I'm not a big like veto trade guy. Like I hate that that's an option in like some leagues. That's the situation where it should have been put into play. Like that's just. We had a guy on his way out.
That's heinous.
Yeah,
he didn't give a fuck. He was just. Was he Jake's friend?
No. Well, he went to film school with us.
Like he's a nice guy, but like he just
he took advantage of him, like you took advantage of Jeff.
He was the Jeff of the Dynasty League. Yes, absolutely.
Like it just shouldn't have. You should have rescinded that trade immediately. You should have been like, Frank, here's Dalvin Cook back. Troy, here's your pick. Because like. Goddamn, you dealt. I mean, Troy's made an amazing move of it, but like you dealt him the shittiest of hands.
Yeah, I feel I do, but he's still joined.
He's
the
looking
league,
solid.
So
Back hopping onto Houston to get young talent has been looking like a genius move. Honestly.
Other than Damian Pierce, that's kind of kicking.
He sucks. I dropped him in a redraft league. I dropped Damian Pierce.
Wow. I got off him. I was really happy I got off him. I'm kind of eating my words with Rashad. I got off Rashad White this year. Granted, it was for Devon A-Chain, but I'm a little. He's looking great.
All right, fellas. Let me end this podcast here. You can keep talking if you want, but thanks so much for listening, everybody. At those fantasy dudes, because Logan kind of just brushed through all the socials at the beginning. I was like, "What?"
No, I did it. I ended up doing the whole thing.
You didn't say the name. You just said Instagram, Twitter. Like you didn't say.
No, but then I read through the listening platforms.
I did hear that. I was gone. I was working on the roast.
And to be honest, listen back. I think it was solid.
I'm like, okay, I will. Obviously, I'll probably listen to this tomorrow.
No, I definitely brushed up off the socials for sure.
You certainly brushed off Brittany Mahomes, and you will never do that again.
I'm never reading a Brittany Mahomes segment. I'll sit through one, but I won't read one.
Good. And never skip through one again. That makes me upset because I worked very hard.
It was just hard to get through. It felt like I was like walking through mud.
Sure. Yeah. That's kind of how it feels for me when I'm getting through it as well. Just so you know, like. This isn't a joke. It never was. It never will be. But yeah, I will say thanks so much for joining the show, you guys. She's popped off. I know. Good for her. I'm excited for her, and I feel like it's just a win for all of us. We're all part of Taylor Swift's posse.
She didn't do anything.
She did so much.
She's
and
just
so
there.
have we. But take care, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for tuning in to Those Fantasy Dudes podcast. Make sure to tune in next next week. And follow us at Those Fantasy Dudes on Instagram.